The 2025 Wyndham Championship is the final full field event this fall season and this is really it. It is the final chance for players to fall in the top 70 in the standings to make the playoffs. It's all going down at Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro, North Carolina. A field of 156 players will tee it up beginning on Thursday. Let's welcome in our golf guru, Patrick McDonald, joining us now. So Sedgefield Country Club, it hosts this week event. It plays as a par 70, just over 7,100 yards. What makes this course unique?
Well, it is a Donald Ross design, Jenny, and with Donald Ross designs, it's really the green complexes that carry the weight and provide the main defense for players. They're smaller green complexes. They slope from back to front primarily, and they really give players something to think about with their second shots, where they want to leave it, where they want to attack pins, where they can't miss around these greens, because scrambling around the greens at Sedgefield Country Club is quite difficult. Like you mentioned, it's a shorter golf course. It's only a par 70, and when you think about that, two key aspects come to mind. One, you got to put the ball in the fairway. The rough isn't too long there in North Carolina, but it's sticky. It's Bermuda rough. It's very difficult to judge. And two, there's going to be a ton of wedge opportunities. You look at the past winners, typically getting to something around 20 under par by week's end. A lot of really good wedge players, a Kevin Kisner, a Russell Henley. Last year with Aaron Rye, very accurate and very good wedge players. Whoever can make the most putts out of those good wedge players typically fare well and have a great week at Sedgefield.
And this is really an important week for a lot of the guys on the tour. Final opportunity to jockey for position in the FedEx Cup standings before the postseason. You look at some of those players on the bubble. You got a guy like Adam Scott. He's playing in the Wyndham Championship for the first time since 2023. He's looking for that one final push to get into the playoffs. He's sitting at number 85 right now in the standings. What are you hoping to see from him?
Yeah, like you see on the screen there, he needs a two-way tie for third or better just to make it into next week and climb into the top 70. Even if he finishes that high, he's probably going to require some help, just given the number of names between him and Matty Schmidt, who currently occupies that number 70 spot. But the good news for Scott is he has played well at this golf course. He was a playoff loser in 2021. I believe there were 5 guys in that playoff. When Kevin Kisner won, he finished inside the top 10. But for Scott, it's just been a season where he really hasn't played too much. He's kind of picked his schedule, chose his schedule to be a bit more conservative, and because of that, he's left needing a very good finish at the Wyndham Championship. He doesn't have a top 10 this season, only 4 top 20s as well. I think if he could have gotten more points out of that U.S. Open run, right? He was in that final pairing with Sam Burns at Oakmont, but finished T12 because of a very poor final round. He would have been in a much better position heading into this week, but for Scott, he's a guy who is at least comfortable around this place. He didn't play well last week at the 3M Open, so with him, he'll go as far as that broomstick takes him, because we have seen Scott struggle on the greens every once in a while.
You did mention his success at Wyndham Championship. He had 2 top 10s in his last 3 trips to the Wyndham Championship, so he's got that going for him. Next up, a guy like Tom Kim. In an article that you wrote on CBSSports.com, you said it's been a fall few imagined, especially after Kim contended at Pebble Beach. He finished T7 for the first big signature event of the year. What are your hopes for him?
It's been a weird year for Tom Kim. He just split with Paul Tesori, the veteran caddy who's been on the bag for Webb Simpson a ton. You think about Webb's success at the Wyndham Championship, naming a kid after the tournament. That's how well Webb has acquitted himself at this golf tournament. Tesori's back on the bag for him this week. But for Tom Kim, he's someone who went and chased distance, and it hasn't really turned out to be a great decision so far. He has really struggled off the tee. He has really struggled on approach, and he has really struggled primarily with the club you see on the screen right now, the putter. And when Tom Kim came out and won this tournament in 2022, he was known as a very good putter, and he has gone through multiple models. He's gone through multiple grip changes, and nothing is working for him right now. He's just below tour average when it comes to the putting statistics. You're going to have to make a ton of putts this week at Sedgefield Country Club. So obviously the good news is he's comfortable. He won here in 2022, kind of ran away from the field in that tournament for his first PGA Tour win, but he's got to make a lot more putts. And right now, throughout 2025, that has unfortunately not been the case for Kim.
Time to change things around right now. Jordan Spieth is back in action at the Wyndham after missing the cut last year. Spieth is number 50 in the FedEx Cup standings. He was forced to withdraw from the Travelers Championship with an injury, but returned to finish tied for 40th at the Open Championship. Do you think he has a shot here to kind of move up in the standings, Patrick?
I do. I think Spieth is playing a lot better than maybe his results indicate. As you see on the screen, he's ranked 16th on the PGA Tour in total strokes gained. Statistically, that means he's been the 16th best golfer. But you look at his FedEx Cup rankings, and he's only 50th. And 50th, to me, is the biggest cutoff in the FedEx Cup, just because if you do qualify for the BMW Championship, that means you will be in all 8 signature events in 2026. Spieth, coming off that injury, he has relied primarily on sponsor invitations. He's been criticized a little bit because of that. And so if he could play his way into those signature events in his own volition, that would, I think, go a long way for his confidence and go a long way for his game. And so he actually ranks third or second in this field the last 3 months, behind only Keegan Bradley in terms of total strokes gained. He has a really well-rounded nature to his game. And so although he missed the cut last year at this championship, he does have some good history. He lost in a playoff over a decade ago to Patrick Reed in 2013. So some good, decent vibes for Spieth this week, and I do expect him to play well.
Patrick McDonald getting us ready for the Wyndham Championship. Patrick, thank you so much for your time. You can catch all of the action on CBS Sports and streaming on Paramount Plus Saturday and Sunday starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. And when we're looking at the odds boards here, it is topped by Matt Fitzpatrick at plus 2,000. Also at the top of the Wyndham Championship odds, we have Aaron Rai at plus 2,200, Ben Griffin and Keegan Bradley right after that. All right, let's make some money. Sia Najat joining us now, our betting expert. We're going to kick it off like we do every single week, going right to it. Your pick to win. Who do you like?
Jenny, a bit of a mea culpa just to start the show off. I've had a very good outright year, but last week I picked Michael Thorbjornsen as my outright winner, and that guy ejected as fast as humanly possible. So I have some making up to do, and you might think because of that I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to take like an Aaron Rai that Patrick McDonald just referenced, or a Ben Griffin or a Keegan Bradley. I'm going down the board. Jenny, I'm going to Emiliano Grillo. This was at FanDuel 80-1. It's now 65-1. I still think it's a good number because frankly, I think he should be in the 40 to 50-1 range. When you look at how he profiles for this course, accurate off the tee, good with the mid-iron play. The putter is always shaky with Emiliano Grillo, but I do want to point out he's gained with the putter in 3 of his last 5 tournaments. He was T59 last year at the Wyndham. But I will say he gained in every category except he was terrible around the green. Now, that could happen again this time, but the around the green play has been actually pretty good for Emiliano Grillo. So to me, he checks every box, including the box of, hey, he can maybe win this tournament because it's not super talented at the top. A lot of those big names at the top have some shaky recent form. So I'm going to go with a relative long shot, Emiliano Grillo, 65-1.
You know why things got messed up last week, right?
Because you weren't here. Thanks, Jenny.
It's gone. I mean, we've been doing so well every week. So don't worry. You're in a good spot right now. How about some DFS goodbyes?
I mean, let's book that ticket right now, Jenny. Emiliano Grillo, let's spend the money right now. Okay, a couple of names that I don't think are going to get a ton of attention. Chris Kirk and David Lipsky. Chris Kirk might get a little bit of attention because he does profile well here, except for the fact that his history here isn't very good. But again, when you look at the mid-iron play, he checks that box. When you look at the accuracy, he's relatively accurate. The problem with Chris Kirk is he has good tournaments and he has bad tournaments. He's T14 at the 3M Open, T2 at the Rocket Classic, T12 at the U.S. Open. But then there's the flip side of that coin where he's just not very good and misses cuts. But we're talking about DFS plays, and we're looking for guys who can spike. So Chris Kirk certainly fits that category. And David Lipsky, speaking of closing line value that I got with Emiliano Grillo, David Lipsky was 450-1 on FanDuel and a lot of books before, like right when the lines came out. He's now around 170-1 because I think people are paying attention to what David Lipsky has done over the last 4 tournaments. Something is different. He has clearly found something because he's gaining in every category: ball striking, short game, with the putter. And what is that measured out to? A T3, a T32, a T28, and a T3 over his last 4 tournaments. David Lipsky, very sneaky in DFS.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Are we going with a special nationality this week for your best bet? What do we got going on?
You know we are. In fact, last time you were here, Jenny, I believe we went top African, and we took Christian Bezuidenhout at I think it was plus 350 at the time. Can't remember exactly what tournament it is. Well, we're doing the same exact thing. We're going to the top African market, unfortunately, where you don't get a plus 350 because Seabez is finally getting some respect. He's plus 150 as top African at the Wyndham Championship. The other three guys he's going against, Eric Van Rooyen, Garrett Higo, neither of which are playing well at all, and Tristan Lawrence, who is playing pretty well. I will say EVR, he's flashed a little bit, but Tristan Lawrence is the guy I'm afraid of here. He's the guy with the next shortest odds. He profiles pretty well here, but I think his form has been a little shaky. When you look at Christian Bezuidenhout, I mean, everything is clicking for him. Accuracy, the approach has been great. The mid-irons have been great. The Bermuda putting has been good. Great short game. The history here isn't great. It's good, but not great. He makes cuts, but the finishing positions aren't good. I honestly think just making the cut might take this one down. The other three could miss the cut. Either way, I like Seabez at plus 150 and what amounts to a 4-ball, but it's the top African market, top in region.
I'm here to bring the good juju your way. Sia Nejad, thank you so much for joining us here on HQ, hoping to win us some money. For more picks, best bets, you got to check out the early wedge. Sia Nejad, Mike McClure, they're previewing the 2025 Wyndham Championship from a DFS perspective with pick strategy and more. Check it out today.